Look at you.
Alright, welcome to a new episode of Cooking with the Caseys. Tonight we're going to be doing some beef stew, and it's going to have a little sausage in it. My girls ain't here tonight, so I got my pops behind the camera. Say hey, Pops.
Howdy ho. It's not.
What we have is we have some country style boneless beef ribs. It's got some real good marble on it. You want that when you get beef, because that makes the meat real tender. And we have Manda sausage tonight instead of the regular sausage we use, which is really good. It's a company out of Baton Rouge. This is actually the Manda garlic sausage right here. You're going to need 2 onions. You can put however many garlic cloves you want, but I usually use a whole lot. I'm a garlic head, so you're going to need onions, garlic, celery, and some green onions. And then our basic seasoning I always use, the cayenne, the salt, and the black pepper. And for our little side dish, we're going to be doing some lima beans over here. And that's it. And whenever we come back, I'll be showing you what to do with everything. I'll have the meat in the pot like I always do with the veggies and the oil. And we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I forgot to tell y'all about one ingredient before I left. You got to use some roux. We usually either use Carrie's or Savoy's. They're both made right here in Louisiana. You can also make your own if you need to. It's equal parts of vegetable cooking oil and flour fried in a pan over low heat until it gets dark brown. But anyway, that's not going to happen until later. So what I want to show you right now is that once you get your meat, your beef starting to brown a little bit with your veggies, you want to add all the veggies and all the beef first. And once it just gets to where it's starting to brown, that's when I like to season everything. Then you put parsley, a little parsley. And then what I always use, just the regular stuff, black pepper, red pepper, which is cayenne, and salt. And like I always say, whenever I'm doing the videos, you can always add, but you can't take out. So when you start off seasoning it, just season it enough to where it kind of coats the top a little bit, and then later on you can add if you think you need a little more seasoning in there. And at this point, right now, I got the sausage cut up, and I also like to add that in there too. Now, remember I said that's a pound of Manda. You might not be able to get it everywhere, but it's pretty common down here. So, and then you just mix it in. Make sure that sausage gets browned a little bit, along with the roast that you cut up, the country rib steaks. And then now would be a good time to start your other stuff. We usually have our stuff with rice, so I got the rice going, and then we have I'm going to go ahead and turn on the lima beans. I'll put them on medium for right now. And then whenever I do the lima beans, I usually put a little butter and some Tony Chachere's. That's another Louisiana seasoning that I'm not sure if you can get it wherever you're at watching this, but most everywhere in the South you can get it. So any of the family up in Colorado or anything like that, you might have to look for it somewhere. I don't know. But the next step when we come back after the break, I'm going to be showing you what to do with that roux. And then after that, it's just home run from there. It's time to plate it up, and everything's going to be done. And this is what it looks like so far. Got all your veggies and your meat down in the pot. And you want to cover it up, let that stuff simmer down and brown real good. And we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Now, once you leave your meat and everything in there with the seasoning for about 20 to 30 minutes, something like that, especially if you got a good pot like mine. I have the Cajun Classic. It's a big cast iron pot. It's basically like cooking in a big pressure cooker. When you put the lid on, the lid is so heavy that none of the heat escapes, and it just cooks that stuff with quickness. So about 20 or 30 minutes, and this is what it's going to look like. Now I haven't added any water. I haven't added anything except for the meat, the veggies, and a little bit of oil to get it started. Now look at that. It done sucked all the good juices out of that meat. Cooked them veggies down real good. Now it's time for you to add all your water and all your roux, alright? I got everything else cooking on low. Now me, a lot of people like to add the roux after they put the water in, but I like to add it now since the pot's already steaming hot and boiling, and that's just how I do it. People do everything different. Now you don't have to put a lot of this, especially the dark. This is the dark roux. We like using dark roux around here. About 3 big spoonfuls ought to do you, because it's some pretty strong stuff. Now, once you get this in there, you want to let it melt down a little bit, because basically, like I said before, all roux is just oil and flour, and it's cooked down into a paste. Okay, that's what a roux is. All right. And now I mix it in with my meat real good, let it melt. It usually takes a few minutes. Now, a lot of people like their stew real thick, and other people like us, we like more of a brothy kind of stew. Now, if you want your stew to be thicker, you add more roux, because the more roux you add, the thicker that the broth is going to be. I know people that like their broth so thick you can stick your spoon in it and it stands straight up and down. I don't like it that thick. That's too thick. We like it to where you can drink it, and it's a little broth. But look, as you can see, it's already melted down. See, that's why I like to put it in there now while everything's nice and hot. And then I got my water on standby. I'll go ahead and add a big cup of water. I like to fill my pot up till about 3/4 of the way, about right here. And then I'll cook it for a little while with the lid off. And once it cooks down about 1 inch or so, I'll stick the lid back on and let it cook some more. And it comes out good. So let me add some more water and show you where you want to get it. Got the beans on low. About 1.5 cups ought to do it. Well, a big cup. This is one of the big. I like to use my New Orleans Saints championship cup to put the water, just because nostalgia, I guess. Super Bowl, baby. What? That's what I always have my water with. About one more half a cup ought to do it. See, I don't ever measure anything. I just look at stuff and see where the level's at, and even with my seasoning and everything, I don't have a measurement system per se as far as cups or teaspoons or nothing like that. I just go with what I think is right, what I think looks right. Because I've been cooking long enough to where I can pretty much gauge stuff pretty good. But that's where you want to get it, about right there, like I said, about 3/4 of the way up. And let it boil with the lid off, and what that's going to do is going to reduce it down and get that roux in there real good, thicken it up a little bit. Like I said, the more roux you add, the thicker it gets. If you like your stew real thick, add 5 scoops of roux, 4 or 5. But I only add about 3 big ones, and that's just good enough. When we come back, this ought to be done. It ought to be boiled down good. The roux will be thickening everything up. All you got to do to the side, which, the beans came out the can, so I just throw a little butter, some Tony's some really good stuff. That's some original Creole seasoning, that or Zatarain's. And then we got rice. We eat rice with everything, so when we come back, we'll be plating everything up. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Alright, we're back. We got the sides done. Got the rice done. All we got to do now is plate everything up. Now, down here in southeast Louisiana, we do rice for pretty much anything, so everybody's got a rice cooker. Even when it comes down to stew, we like to put our little rice in the stew. Put your little couple scoops of rice down there. Then you go over here to the stew. And then we'll get our little side dish going. Now remember, all I did to these was heat them up real good. Put a little bit of butter and a little bit of Tony in there. You can put whatever kind of seasoning you want, but I like to use the Tony. It's a good Cajun seasoning. And that's what's for supper. You got your beef stew and your side dish, the lima beans. And I'm the Cajun mad scientist, and Pops coined that term, so I give the credit to him. And we're gonna go eat this, and y'all enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4.